Gru, a supervillain with a jawline that looks like a potato got into Harvard, decides his greatest plan is to steal the actual moon from the sky. And the movie just lets that go. Nobody asks any follow-up questions. He just puts it in a room, the minions throw a party, credits roll. But here's what I cannot stop thinking about. What would actually happen? Like in real life, if Gru pulled that off, what would go down on Earth while he's sitting in his underground lair holding the literal moon? Spoiler, everyone dies, but in a really interesting way. Let's get into it. First things first, Gru uses a shrink ray to make the moon small enough to pocket. And I know we're already doing movie logic, but I still need to address this because it sets up everything else. The moon weighs 7.3 times 10 to the power of 22 kilograms. That's a number so large it makes me want to lie down. If you shrink the moon, even to the size of a basketball, it still has all of that mass. You haven't removed any material, you've just compressed it. What you've made is not a moon. What you've made is a black hole. Congratulations, Gru. You've created the world's most chaotic golf ball. It is now eating the room around it at the speed of light. So for the rest of this video, we're going to go with option B. Gru somehow gets a normal-sized moon and stores it, because the black hole scenario ends the video at the 2-minute mark and I have a rent payment due. The second the moon leaves Earth's orbit, we start feeling it, and I mean fast. The moon is responsible for our tides, the entire ocean system on Earth. The rhythmic rise and fall of billions of tons of water is controlled by the moon's gravitational pull. Remove that pull, the oceans don't just chill out. They don't go, okay, thanks, we're calm now. They slam. Think about it like this. You've been pushing a swing back and forth for years. The swing has momentum. If you suddenly stop pushing, the swing doesn't freeze. It keeps going in the last direction it was heading and eventually crashes into something. Coastal cities would get hit with massive tidal surges in the short term, the oceans lurching around trying to find a new equilibrium. We're talking waves that would make the word flood feel inadequate. Meanwhile, Gru is in his lair eating a banana with a spoon, completely unbothered. After the initial chaos, the oceans do settle, and you'd think, okay, crisis over. But no, stable oceans without tides means dead oceans. Tidal movement is what mixes nutrients through ocean water. It drives currents. It keeps coastal ecosystems alive. Without it, we're looking at catastrophic collapse of marine food chains within years. No tides, no fish, no sushi. This is the moment Gru became the worst person in human history. Can we talk about the minions for a second? In the movie, Gru shrinks the moon, and his minions just have a normal evening. They're bowling. They're eating. One of them is definitely doing something weird in the corner that the camera doesn't acknowledge. But if we're in the real version of this, the minions are in the lair too, and the lair is underground somewhere, presumably in a country with a coastline, judging by the general vibe of the neighborhood. The tidal surges alone would have flooded a standard underground facility within hours. Gru's lair has those giant windows. Those aren't waterproof. Nothing about that architecture says we anticipated the oceans deciding to riot. I'm not saying the minions are dead. I'm just saying the minions are having an incredibly bad time and nobody in that movie asked the right questions. Also, how does he put it back? In the film, Gru eventually uses the shrink ray in reverse to restore the moon. It flies back into orbit. Everything's fine. Girls are happy. Gru becomes a good dad. Roll credits. In real life, you can't just casually yeet the moon back into the exact same orbit. The moon has been in that orbit for 4.5 billion years. The path it follows is incredibly specific and maintained by the constant interplay of gravitational forces. If you put it back even slightly wrong, like a few thousand kilometers off, the new orbit would be different, and a different orbit means permanently different tides. Different tides mean permanently altered ocean currents. Permanently altered ocean currents means the climate system that every single form of life on Earth has evolved around is now just different. You don't recover from that in a weekend. Something nobody thinks about when we're busy drowning in the ocean. It is now extraordinarily dark at night. The moon reflects sunlight onto Earth. Without it, nights are significantly darker. Now this sounds minor compared to tidal apocalypse, but consider, essentially every nocturnal ecosystem on Earth is built around moonlight. Migration patterns, mating cycles, hunting behaviors, all of it calibrated to lunar cycles. Bats, sea turtles navigating by moonlight, coral spawning events triggered by the full moon, every single one of those systems gone, or at least completely disrupted. The food chain doesn't just break at the top, it breaks at every link simultaneously. And humans, we lose an astronomical navigation reference that we've used for literally all of recorded history. Every calendar system on Earth is partially lunar. The word month literally comes from moon. Every culture, every religion, every agricultural tradition based on lunar cycles suddenly has to recalibrate from scratch. Okay, let's do a quick scorecard of what GRU actually accomplished. Coastal civilization, flooded within hours, marine ecosystems, collapsing within years, Earth's axial stability, compromised over millennia, nocturnal biodiversity, gone, human calendar systems, chaos, minions, somewhere in the ocean, probably fine because they seem indestructible, honestly good for them. And in exchange for all of this, GRU got bragging rights. He wanted to be the greatest villain of all time, and technically, in the real-world version of this plan, he would be. He would be the singular greatest mass extinction event since the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. Scientists thousands of years from now, if there are any, would study the geological record and find the exact moment something removed the moon, and they would call that period the GRU epoch. That's actually kind of impressive in a deeply, deeply horrifying way. The real lesson of Despicable Me is not about love or family or finding yourself through parenting. It's that the gap between movie physics and real physics is exactly one extinction level event wide. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe. I've got a whole series of what-if stories. Also comment what you would do if you were given superpowers. Maybe we make our next video about you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay alive.